Yes, I'm just looking at the state's response. Um, this competency evaluating. Yes. You know, when you send 1,500,000 emails. I thought I should mention that accessory after the fact is obstruction of justice. I want my rights and I want my sons. They have accessory after the fact, the definition, someone who assists another who has committed a felony. Oh, after the person has committed the felony, with knowledge that the person committed the felony, and with the intent to help the person avoid arrest or punishment. Accessory after the fact. Now, Mr. Roberts might not understand that whatever email he says, did you find out the actual identity of every email address in that email? Just copy and paste them into Google. Now, if it's one of my emails, I could, well, I'm almost sure, I mean like 99.99% sure, that any email address that I've sent an email to, there's another email from another email address that I sent that to. Ouch. You know, accessory after the fact may be held liable for inter alia obstruction of justice. Now, if you go to Cornell, yes, it says abuse of process. Ouch. Abuse of discretion. Any and all items that have been left to me by any document that involve the death of my relatives that is being kept from is larceny. And the moral turpitude of those that have the legal liability for the enforcement of law is a travesty of justice. You know, this travesty of justice. I just wanted to know where every will and document is that has anything to do with my inheritance and the rights of my family. Oh, do I own any land in Glallam County? Ouch, ouch, ouch. Now, just looking at this, okay. When I was a stockbroker, I did not have the legal right to alter any document, but as you see right here, there could be a compliance issue with not putting the court's address. Yes. Not using court forms as they were designed. Yes. Not giving me actual notice. Yes. Issuing court orders for 10 years. Now, in the financial services industry, you get audited. It's called a compliance audit. In fact, could you search for the word compliance? COMPLIANCE. Somehow I'm thinking that the judicial system, the courts themselves, the actual documentation of the courts have not been audited, and maybe there's a reason why you don't audit the actual files. But when I know that I was issued this and the state says, well, I just have to have knowledge of it. It doesn't have to be compliant. It doesn't have to be issued according to the requirements of the RCWs. It doesn't have to have actual notice of the hearing. It doesn't have to conform to the number of years available to issue a court order. It doesn't have to have the actual signature of the court clerk. It doesn't have to prove that the court seal was used lawfully. Pooch. Now, I know. Page 2 of 3. Shall immediately surrender all firearms and all other dangerous weapons in her possession. Control and file proof of surrender. Now this, what do you mean there is no auditing infrastructure for every court of the United States? You know, you can't really work with clients in the financial services unless you've been educated about compliance. When I first started with Aid Association for Lutherans back in 1997, yes, I passed the 6 and 63 so that I could sell mutual funds. And then I got my insurance license, and pooch, they really hammer into you this concept of compliance. Now, it seems the state doesn't give a shit about compliance because in their minds, maybe I need to go through every file of the prosecuting attorney's office. Maybe you dumb fuckers don't understand how to fill out a form. Now, I'm thinking, okay, that as the individual that's going to do the suing, yes, I'd have to get a copy of every document in every prosecuting attorney's office, making sure that the state responses to the defendant's motion to dismiss, where all I have to do is have knowledge of the protection order. It doesn't have to be issued according to the RCWs. There doesn't have to be any compliance involved. It doesn't require a signature. Now, I know that the judicial system is needing an additional layer of compliance, just like those in financial services. For every year, and a compliance officer goes in, and if they find one wrong word, they have to throw the case out. You don't know how to fill out a form. Now, when we look at the compliance, this abuse of discretion on the part of the court, or they say, well, we don't have to put the address in or the telephone number. Everybody knows. You can look it up in the phone book. And then there's the 21st Amendment. You want to tell me how the fucking... Yes!